Hey guys, it's Greg with By the Bootstraps, b2bootstraps.com. Check out the store, check out the social media. I want to make a video about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Thankfully today the verdict came down. They found him not guilty on all 5 counts. The 6th count of the weapons possession and the weapon charge was dropped earlier this week. I was slightly concerned because it had been many days, 4 days to be exact, of deliberation with no trial or no verdict. I was concerned that given the hostility of our current environment, political and social environment, that they would have deliberated in a manner in which Kyle Rittenhouse would have been guilty. Going back to the beginning of the case, August of 2020, I don't agree personally with Kyle Rittenhouse being down in Kenosha. I don't think he was wrong to be there, and as the jury has pointed out today, he wasn't. I don't think he had any prior offenses. I think he went down there with noble intent, putting out fires, cleaning graffiti, providing first aid. I don't think going down there with an AR-15 was the wisest decision, but you do have a right in this country to do so. And thankfully the jury agreed with that assessment. They basically defended the Second Amendment for a majority of the Americans out here who looked at what was going on and looked and seen what's been going on in our cities and our counties and our states. And they said, no, we side with the Second Amendment. We side with those who are trying to defend their property, trying to defend themselves, trying to defend their families, and that you have a right in this nation to defend yourself against those who would do you harm. Again, Kyle Rittenhouse being 17, do I think it was wise for him to be down there at that point in time with an AR-15? Personally, no. Would I advise my son or my daughter to be in an environment like that, where you had protesters and rioters and looters and arsonists and sex offenders, apparently, as we've learned, and violent criminals? No. But that brings up a really good point right there that I think a lot of people are missing. Kyle Rittenhouse was on charge and was charged because of the actions of self-defense, which he's now been exonerated from. So I can say this with all impunity without having to worry about some jackass coming at me saying, no, you got it wrong. No. You got it wrong, sir, madam, whatever you are, according to the jury. Kyle Rittenhouse was in a position to defend the city that his father lived in, that his relatives lived in, that he worked in. So when people make the claims that he had no right being there, that's bullshit. He had every right to be there. He worked in that city. He participated in that city. Alright? His family lived in that city. And not just Kyle Rittenhouse, but anyone who lived in that city who was a law-abiding citizen had every right to arm themselves to go down there and protest and fight back against illegal protesters / rioters. When they say they were peaceful protesters, I don't recall seeing car lots burning in the background for a peaceful protest. I don't recall activists beating an elderly man unconscious for defending his property, putting out fires that they set at his business, and then having the gall to attack him to the point of death. Thankfully they didn't kill him, they just knocked him out. An elderly man, and all he did was defend his own property, which your business is your property. They keep talking about the actions of Kyle Rittenhouse, but they never talk about the actions of the people who were violating the law to begin with. You can call yourself a protest all you want to, which is fine. You want to peacefully protest? Fine. You want to gather in front of the courthouse? Fine. Although not when the jury is deliberating and you're trying to dox the jury. I disagree with that. But, let's say on normal circumstances when that's not going on, fine. You don't have a right in any situation to go down there, commit arson, commit looting, stealing, destruction of property, burning down buildings, assaulting individuals, potentially murdering individuals, and potentially raping individuals. I'm sorry, that is not a peaceful protest. Everyone wants to focus on Kyle Rittenhouse and what he did. What did he do? He provided self-defense against a serial rapist and child pedophile, Rosenbaum. A man who ran up and kicked him in the dark, out of the blue. I think they refer to him as the jumping kick man or kick jumping man, which come to find out, which we'll get to this in a second, the prosecutors knew who he was. I forget the other guy's name because I can't remember his name, starts with a B, but the guy who with the skateboard who struck Kyle Rittenhouse and then went to go hit him again. And then Gauges, the dude who pointed a gun at him. Okay, let's break that down. So you want to charge Kyle Rittenhouse with manslaughter or first degree murder and all these other charges because he defended himself. Well, see, the first one was screaming at him, F you, N-word. I'm going to effing kill you. I'm going to cut out your heart, which he's on tape saying. Assaults Kyle Rittenhouse to the point where he tries to grab his rifle that he has actual burn marks in his hands, soot marks per se, from where he grabbed the barrel, took a couple bullets. Who was a known pedophile, who should have been in jail. We know for a fact he was convicted at least of one act of pedophilia. He was, or I believe he's been charged with 11 crimes, convicted on 5. Why was this man even out? Period. So what? You have to fuck 3 or 4 kids before you're put away for life? You know, why didn't the prison guards just open the doors and throw a bag of beef jerky in his cell and say, problem solved? You know, this man was a menace. So I'm supposed to feel bad that a pedophile got killed after assaulting a 17-year-old? Kyle Rittenhouse didn't know who he was. Who knows? Maybe the guy was running at him with a raging erection. Maybe that was his natural stance. Kind of like in fighting games where they had neutral stances. His with a giant dick ready to fuck him. Forget my language. I'm just saying. The other guy, Mr. Jump Kick Man, barely missed getting shot. Turned out he's a 39-year-old man with an extensive history of violence. And the sad part is the prosecutor knew about this. That's another thing I want to talk about. The prosecutor knew of this man. This guy, and I forget his name at the moment, so forgive me, allegedly he went to the prosecution to plead a plea deal because of the fact that he didn't want to get charged with his assault charge and this activity, but then also to plead down a DUI charge. Why was this trial not thrown out on a mistrial in and of itself? I mean, first of all, why was it even brought up? But even if you want to keep it, why was it not thrown out? You have the prosecution who trampled and questioned Kyle Rittenhouse's Fifth Amendment rights. Then they provide a video compressed of drone footage from the FBI, which that scared the shit out of a ton of people. What the hell was the FBI doing down there? But they had drone footage, and supposedly they gave a compressed film. Although they had high resolution. That right there is ground for a mistrial. That's not sharing evidence that you have of yourself, at least not the same level of evidence. And then they come to find out that they actually knew the name and the identity and didn't bring as a witness Jump Kicking Man. His testimony in one of the charges against Kyle Rittenhouse was directly involved with this individual. Thank God the jury voted not guilty, because otherwise this could have been easily a mistrial on those 3 premises alone. And yet no one seems to care. But let's go back. Then you had the skateboard wheeling douchebag. Hubbard, I believe his name is. You know, the media claims, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse had a weapon. All these civilians were unarmed. You know how many people die in the USA and around the world from blunt force objects? I've seen videos of guys and women who have been hit in the head with skateboards. Their heads caved in. Permanently. Damage that cannot be repaired. brain damage that cannot be repaired. So if it doesn't alter your way of life and permanently disfigure you, it could potentially kill you. But hey, it's not a weapon. Is it go bang bang? Well, guess what? A knife can kill you. A mallet can kill you. A car can kill you. I can hit you with a 2x4 and kill you. But no, the skateboard, no, that's totally fine. No, he's a victim. He's a victim. And then Grosskreutz, Gauges, whatever the hell his name is, on camera, frame by frame shot, stops, reaches for his Glock, pulls it out, points it at Kyle Rittenhouse, and in his own words, that's my bicep getting vaporized. No, dipshit, your bicep would have been totally fine had you not pointed a gun at Kyle. They want to demonize Kyle because he defended himself and defended his town. And yet they don't want to take any accountability, and they don't want to say anything about the riots, looters, protesters, arsonists, rapists, potential murderers. Why don't you talk about those people? Why don't you blame those people? What caused Kyle to be in that position to where those people could have been hurt? You notice that everyone who didn't attack Kyle, even though he had his 30-round magazine, ooh, scary, all those people are fine. They're walking just free. They're not in body bags, and they're not in the hospital, and they're not missing appendages. Why? Because they didn't attack Kyle. Those 4 idiots did. One got lucky, Mr. Jumping Man. Everyone else, well, either they're dead or disfigured. It's not Kyle's fault. You know, the governor and the mayor told the police to stand down. They didn't send in the National Guard, and now you want to blame people, citizens who stand up and defend their property, defend their communities, their personal safety. I mean, how the hell are you going to paint Kyle Rittenhouse as a villain when there's videotape all night of the kid running around, putting out fires, cleaning up graffiti, providing emergency medical care, who just so happens to be having a gun? And the prosecutor, what a dickhead this dude is. Particularly the Tony Stark villain wannabe douchebag from Iron Man 2. You know, he tried so hard to paint Kyle as a cold-blooded murderer. Nope. Tried to sit there and say that, oh, he shouldn't have owned a gun. He didn't have a right. Yeah, he does, according to Wisconsin law and according to the jury. And then on top of that, you know, said that he couldn't provide EMT services because he was lying, because he said he was an EMT. He never said he was an EMT. He said he had medical training. He said he could assist, he could help people. And do you really think the people who were hurt by the rioters and looters and arsonists, do you think those people really gave a shit at that moment as whether or not Kyle was a certified EMT versus someone who could help them in a moment of need? The media, the president, and everyone else against Kyle has made it a point to crucify this child. Again, do I think he should have been down there? No. Do I think he had a right to be there? Yes. Do I think it was foolish? Possibly. Would I have been down there? It depends. Depends on the circumstances. Depends on what I would have had to have lost. Would I advise my children to be down there? Absolutely not. Would I advise my wife or my family to be down there? No. But it took a 17-year-old kid to do what police officers and the freaking National Guard didn't do. It took a 17-year-old kid to do what 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds who all sit there and talk a good talk on their keyboards to do what they didn't have the balls to do. Now Kyle is declared innocent of all charges, thank God. I hope he pulls the Nick Sandmann route. I hope he sues every one of these media sites. CNN, MSN, ABC, CBS, late night comedy host. I know he can't sue the president, although I wish he could, but he can go after the PAC that made the commercials claim that he was a white supremacist. And I hope he does. Kamala Harris, again, may not be able to sue Kamala Harris directly, but he can certainly sue the campaign PAC that labeled him as a murderer. All these actors who are out there claiming that this is a justice. Oh, really? Unfair justice. Two-sided rules. Yeah, there are two sides for the rules, actually. Kyle Rittenhouse shoots 3 violent offenders, kills 2, disables 1 in self-defense. He gets put on trial to the point where he's gonna go to jail for life. I think his bond was $2 million. That stupid kid and asshole, the black kid who shot 4 people, was out the very next day on a $25,000 bond with the intent to kill 4 people. That sound like fair justice to you? Sure as hell don't sound like it to me. Anyway, it's Greg with Buy the Bootstraps. Check out the store, btbootstraps.com. See you guys later.